Salamander.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. This is the overnight. I am DM Foss, and so far we've got G Webs, gun websites. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem. I kind of forgot while I was waiting and listening to the intro, forgot what day it was, forgot what show it was. I was getting ready to introduce the mouse party. But I am slightly under the weather. But we shall soldier on.
I was going to say it's an old school intro, huh? Was that the first one?
That was the second one, I think. But
Links in the normal place, so people want to jump in, right? They can just join in the regular link.
Yeah, and we have officially patches. We have patches.
What?
Yes. So now when we do giveaways, I can give away patches.
How are they? They look pretty good.
Yeah. Color's good, solid. No bleeding. I took them all out. They all came individually packaged. I took them out and I'm letting them air out. There's a little bit of a chemically smell to them, but it's got, you can barely smell it now. Well, my nose is stuffed up, so, but there's a little bit from where the patch was up against the packaging. You can kind of see where it was touching. So I've gone through and burnished a little bit with just a paper towel, kind of even out. But I'm happy. I'm happy. Here, I'll go big screen. Oh,
you got 500 of them?
Oh God, no. I have 50. I'll probably order 50 more in a few months. But yeah, I'm stoked. Good detail. I mean, I simplified the design a little bit, the colors, and but I was really surprised that the little DMF on the chest, they got that.
The
I wasn't
patch
sure.
on the patch, the patch on
Yeah,
the dude on the patch.
I wasn't sure if they could do that or not, and they did it. So I bought them through Owl and Anchor.
They don't follow no rules, so even if the rule is you're not supposed to make patches that small, they'll just go ahead and make them that small anyway.
Yeah. So, and I will probably do some of the sticker designs and very limited patch runs, maybe like 20 of them. So they are super duper exclusive. Um, just so I can do more designs because I can't afford to do, like 100 at each of them. But
Yeah, but if you did a 500 of them and you made $500 profit on each one, you'd make $25,000 profit, and that could
yeah,
pay for the next patch run.
no, that's not my thing. And I don't have any of the stickers out here that I want to do in patches to show everybody, but oh well. They are all upstairs. But so tonight I thought we'd talk a little bit about lever guns and some of the uh, bad gun law stuff going on. Kind of, you had mentioned the Northeast, and then like Hawaii pops up where they're decided that they're just not going to listen to the Supreme Court. Quote from one of the judges on the Hawaiian Supreme Court said something to the effect of, we looked at the Hawaiian Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, and we're just kind of going to do our own thing.
What do you feel about the Aloha spirit?
Yeah, no. If they were to gain their independence, sure, do whatever you want. But as long as they're still a state, they are still bound by the Constitution.
You think that guns can be the type of situation that would make people go, you know what, we're going to become our own. I don't know what they would be. Would they be their own country, or would they just go work with some other country? But I don't know.
They would.
Hawaii is unique, of course. But I mean, like another state. Do you think guns would be the kind of thing where people are going to go, you know what? I am so worried about other people with guns. I'd rather not even be in this country, and we're gonna secede from the country because of it.
I don't think that would be the one issue. I mean, there has been rumblings for a while about Hawaii becoming independent again, but it's kind of like Quebec.
Well, if Quebec was halfway to China, would China just let Hawaii hang out there, being aloha spirit in the middle of the ocean?
No, because, well, not to get too far into Hawaiian history, they were kind of when they were an independent nation, and then when the plantations started for pineapples and whatnot, then the plantation owners kind of took over the island, and then the U.S. decided to make it a state, and so now it's a state. That's the thumbnail sketch version of Hawaiian history. um, yeah, so I think that'll be that should be squashed fairly quickly, but who knows?
They're the Ninth
'Cause
Circuit Court, along with California and you and us. I don't know.
yeah,
Us. Yeah, I think
I think
us.
that covers you.
So that would be like Nevada and Utah, probably Idaho.
As I would think if it, if and when it goes to the Ninth Circuit will overturn what they're saying. You never know, and that's one thing that recently I've watched a bunch. You can find on the YouTube's video from the Ninth Circuit, and so you can watch the way the process works, and I found it kind of interesting because it's like a conversation between everybody, and then they use case law to back up what they're saying, but they're not. The big point that I would see them make over and over is they're not adjudicating the case. They're just discussing whether the case should, has merit. And it's
Well, because the only thing they'll allow coverage of is that. They're not going to allow coverage, filming of them really doing the debating of the constitutionality of stuff, right?
well, it's the scope of what they do more, because they're not trying the case. A lot of times, some of the stuff that'll come to them is to say, like if it's qualified immunity, a lower court has said whatever official has qualified immunity, and then it gets up to them, and they have to determine whether it applies or not, and if a reasonable well, that kind of go in the wrong direction, but instead of
So they're not trying the case. They're just saying like whether or not the justification of the results has merit or not.
whether it should be go to jury or go to trial. And there was a case where one of the judges kept saying to the state, and I don't remember what the case was about, but was saying if you had gone to trial, this would have been over and you probably would have won. But they overall were saying it should go to trial. So and they, but I would say if anybody out there, if you are bored, it's kind of an interesting thing to see how the process works, and I would think that the Supreme Court is basically going to work about the same, though they don't allow cameras in the Supreme. They don't allow any recordings, I don't think. And I was just reading while I was before the chat. Massachusetts passed a sweeping, as the article said, overhaul of the state firearms laws.
That passed already?
Well, as far as I know, it just passed like the Senate. I think it still needs to go to their House. So I don't think that's where it's at. But it passed 37-3. So
Well, it was already at the House. It was sitting at the Senate. Now it's going to go to its next stop is the governor who hates guns.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's to ban the scary ghost guns.
The way you say it,
require licensing for 3D printing firearms.
Oh, it's heinous. It's everything. You can't, and it's unless something changed, no grandfathering.
There is. According to this, it said anything purchased before like 2016.
Was 2016. I was thinking 26, but still.
I think that's what it had said. I'm not just trying to scan real quick, see if I can find where it said that. Yeah. And certain guns legally bought prior to 2016 are legacy weapons. and then some stuff to do with red flag laws, though they don't specifically call them red flag laws. So it's kind of a mess. And there's the fourth or fifth circuit that has asked the Supreme Court to look at the assault weapons ban in their area. I don't remember exactly what state it was, because the court has been dragging their feet, and instead of going to a 3-judge panel, which probably would have overturned the law, it went straight to en banc. So it's kind of some shenanigans going on. So they asked the Supreme Court to take a look at it, and who knows if they're going to take a look at it, because the Supreme Court likes everything to work its way completely through the system. That's partly why they had sent a whole bunch of the cases back down to be reheard using the Bruin, which then the lower courts ignored and have to work their ways back in, but they're dragging their feet on it to keep it from going back up. So I'm personally really hoping that they'll take that assault weapon ban, because that affects us here in Washington. So DJ was out there earlier in Vulcan Rumble. Gunmetal Guy USA. Mr. Bob Davalina. I don't think Hawaii would last long as an independent nation. As soon as they secede from the Union, they'd be gobbled up by Russia, China, or Japan within a month. I would guess that China would probably go after them.
For sure. Because it would be tougher for Russia to do it, and I don't think Japan could take it from China.
Well, that's kind of what China's been doing in Africa, is basically becoming trade partners to garner influence in Africa. That's, they've been doing that for a while.
Well, they get resources. There's a lot of telephone stuff they need out of China, out of Africa. Those mines for some of those telephone materials. Are you talking about that?
That's who I would guess would try and move in. Oh, Mr. Gizzard Gary, how you doing?
Or they'd be strong enough to just hang out for a while and be a country. They are kind of in the middle of nowhere. It would be kind of a pain in the ass for somebody to take them over. It would depend on if we left them any stuff, but there's no way they're going to be able to say, we don't want to be the United States anymore. We'd say, okay, fine, but we're taking one of the islands where Pearl Harbor is. You can have the rest of it. But you know what I mean? We're not going to leave Pearl Harbor sitting there with all the boats and everything and all the support for all that. It's like our Navy, big chunk of our Navy, isn't it? Or am I crazy?
Well, it's kind of an important stop because it's out halfway between here and anywhere else.
Right. Like we would say, you can have the rest of it, but we're definitely keeping a port out there. And I don't know where we would do it other than what we already have.
Maybe like with Cuba, we've got our little chunk.
Oh, yeah. That's what they would do, is they would say, here you go, we're succeeding, but you can have your thing over there. That way we would leave them alone and whatever. But I don't know. We're just debating whether or not, I don't know if you were listening, whether or not Hawaii might book out of the United States.
Oh, they're leaving?
No, if they would.
Oh.
Like, would guns be the thing that would make them go, oh, we're going to quit. We don't like your country because of your guns.
Yeah. They need our money. They just had an earthquake over there. Is it me or is Foss muted?
No, I didn't say anything.
I just wasn't talking. I have a bit of a cold. So
I assume Hawaii is essentially like a bunch of boulders that are piled up on the ocean floor that somebody piled up very high, and then the top boulder pokes out of the water. People live on it. But if everyone walked on the one side, for example, or if everybody started walking in one direction, the boulder would either roll or fall off of the stack of boulders, right? Fall into the ocean. We'd lose an island.
I don't think it works that way.
Maybe there's a long rope or some seaweed, and this is a boulder with so much air pockets in it because that lava's got a lot of air pockets in it that it floats. So it's a giant boulder that's floating and then just held down to the bottom of the ocean in one place by vines, sea vines. I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone's ever dived down deep enough to see what's underneath Hawaii. Can you dive down one side, under it, and back up on the other side?
I don't know. I've never tried.
See? I
don't think I've gone out far enough to get to the edge.
It's just like Antarctica. You can just dive down one side, like by Canada, come up over on the other side by Russia.
I just had a flashback to Gary's chat. I think it was on your chat where Barbecue said something about the penguins in the North Pole. There's no penguins in the North Pole. They're in the South Pole.
What if they're on vacation?
Well, they go to Argentina.
Oh. You're like, this is just like where we came from. This is the worst vacation ever.
Yeah, Vulcan Rumble.
Except there's polar bears up there.
Yeah.
Are there no polar bears on the South Pole because there's penguins, or are there no penguins on the North Pole because there's polar bears?
That's a good question.
I don't think anybody's ever addressed that one before.
They've got those hybrid brown bear, polar bear mix that are even bigger. Like, I think they're bigger. Like ligers are bigger than both tigers and lions. But Vulcan Rebel said, I'm in Massachusetts. If you live in a free state, hope you appreciate the government you have. Unfortunately, I don't think the Democratic Party will ever show loyalty to the U.S. Constitution again. And he said, gee, Webbs, I'm one of Toby's customers.
I was just saying I'd like to be able to travel again. Hopefully I'll be traveling sooner than later, and Massachusetts will now be a stop on that. There's other things to see in Massachusetts, but I definitely want to see the shop now.
Never been there.
You've never been to Massachusetts?
I never have been.
Farthest east I've been was Nebraska.
If I did, it was when I was a little kid. But I don't remember all the states I was in when I was a little tiny kid.
Bubba's asking, who's Toby?
So there's a gun shop in Massachusetts that does a radio show, and the host of the radio show is one of the co-owners of the gun shop, and that's Toby. What's his name? Toby Leary?
I think that's right.
I don't know. I know it's Toby, but I think it's that. Anyway, he does a radio show. And have you met him yet, Gizzard?
No. You're talking about Cape Gunworks, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said that. The store is called Cape Gunworks.
Hillbilly Up and Gunpowder Beauties out there.
And
There's a bunch of people joining now. Going to do a bracket at some point, or are we waiting for someone's situation?
Unfortunately, I was walking down the hallway with my bracket, and my wife was walking towards me with a large tub of peanut butter. And
what?
I bumped into her, and she's like, you got your bracket in my peanut butter. And I'm like, you got your peanut butter on my bracket. So I have to get it cleaned up.
That sounds like two great tastes that taste great together.
Yeah. So we're just kind of covering some of the bad gun laws currently going on.
I was just driving down the street with my BMX bicycle with an open jar of peanut butter. Somebody was standing there with their bracket.
I was thinking there was something else going on too, but I can't think of it.
Bad gun laws wise, you mean?
Yeah.
Many. California got their ammo yanked. Give and yank, another give and yank in California.
Oh, did they stay the?
Correct. They gave it to them and then yanked it right back.
Surprise.
You got
Oh,
something
you
with
almost had it.
switchblades. You got a call to action in the state of Washington for switchblades. Something was being voted on to remove prohibitions on switchblades or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
the
it was
hearing.
out the front, maybe. I don't remember.
What spring assisted knives?
All of them. Okay.
I don't know if there was another bill, but yeah, they read that bill. There's a hearing on that back January. I don't. Whenever the last hearing was, with the when they about the time when they did those 5, had the hearing for those 5 in one day, in that 2-hour period. It's insane. The spring assisted bill, they've been trying to push that for the last few years and hasn't quite caught on because we're not allowed to have the cool knives. I'm not sure if it's an outright ban, because like you can find out the front knives for sale in the
A lot
state.
of times you can own stuff, you just can't walk around and do nothing with it, and that's annoying. So they petition to leave that alone or whatever.
So the butterfly knives were good now because of the Ninth Circuit ruled on that.
When I first moved out here, it was cool because most of the country switchblades were illegal back then, and there was never any laws about that here. So one of the first things I did when I was a little kid, when I first moved out here, well, I wasn't a little kid, when I was younger, I picked on the switchblades. I don't even know how many switchblades I have now. I never bought it out the front, though. I prefer the old Italian ones, the stiletto type. I'm a big fan of those, even though they're
the out the front ones. I don't know. They just don't. They don't do it for me. I mean, they're cool, the little.
I remember when they were always cheap. Like they broke all the time. So I know they're stronger now, but I just remember the days when they were kind of gimmicky, cheap.
I mean, I would rather have one of the spring-loaded ballistic ones. The real out the front.
Yeah, exactly. When they were $50.
Yeah. In the back of Soldier of Fortune magazine.
That's another victim of like I'm scared of the concept, so let's make it illegal.
Hillbilly. How's it going? Well, that's awesome. Thanks for joining.
Hey guys. Sorry, I still have my YouTube going. I had to mute that thing real quick. So, how y'all doing this evening?
Pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I don't know about the rest of these guys. We're just talking some of the bad gun laws, and we're going to talk about some of the lever guns, the new lever guns.
I'm all excited now.
Saints, I remember shooting at a place called Greenwater in Washington. It sucks now. I'm not familiar with them. So at the SHOT Show, it was the year of the lever action, it seemed. And I'm kind of wondering if all these new lever actions is a response to a lot of the gun laws that are going on, the push for the bad gun laws, because the lever actions are affected by the semi-auto bans.
I think 100%.
Yeah,
that's definitely a piece of it, or not, if not a majority of it, because they know they're going to have those markets. And I think there's a percentage of it is if there are a bunch of new gun owners, right? We know there's some new gun owners. How many of them? I'll debate anybody about how many there are, but there's new gun owners and they're adults. A lot of them are adults in 2023, 2022. buying their gun for the first time, 2020 or whenever it was, buying their gun for the first time. What happened with, I mean, I don't know what it's like because I've owned guns a long time, my whole life, I guess. So but I know what it's like to get into a hobby when you're an adult and you buy your first thing and then you buy another. If you're into the hobby, you buy another thing, right? So with
Yeah.
guns or with sports or something, or like, name another hobby. Like, when do you only buy one and then you're satisfied? Like, okay, I'm done. My hobby is complete. I bought my one gun. There's a billion guns. Every time I go to a gun store, there's hundreds and hundreds of guns, but I'm going to buy this one and be happy with it. No, you're going to start buying more guns. And how many Wonder Nines can you freaking buy before you go brain numb? You're going to buy real guns at some point. So you're going to try to buy a bolt action. And most people live where? Where you can't shoot a bolt action unless you live out here. And then you can shoot bolt actions, but it's kind of boring. Nobody will admit it, but it's boring. So you're going to buy something else. You're going to buy an AR. All right, some places you can shoot an AR, but you can't do what you want to do with an AR. You want to go run around, do something. You might find a range or two out here, but back east, you're only going to be shooting at paper and stuff. So I think shotguns and lever guns and some of that stuff is the natural evolution of people just being interested in guns and wanting to do something with them. And with a lever gun, you can go to the range and have some fun shooting it. It's super practical. I mean, I'll be an advocate for lever guns forever. Like, they're super fun guns. So I think they know they got a market, and they know that there's a burgeoning market of people who are like, I want something new. And how can you buy a lever gun? I'm not selling my lever guns. Hillbilly ain't selling his lever guns. I don't know if Gizzard has one, but you ain't selling yours. Like, we all got lever guns, but that doesn't mean, a lot of lever guns exist, but it doesn't mean there's stores you can just go buy them at.
Is that a fox?
Little fox outside right now.
Oh, snap. I've only ever seen 2 foxes in the wild out here. No, 3, maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember now. 3 maybe.
Yeah, I've never seen one in person. I only see around here like coyotes.
Yeah,
They're little.
be surprised if a coyote don't show up and try to kill a fox.
Is that a red one, or what do your foxes look like out there?
We have different ones. We got red, gray, then like a little light red, even. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared it. He's gone.
Yep, he's gone. He's stupid. That's why I don't see them very often. They're not sitting around very often.
No, they're pretty scary. Like, they're the same way coyotes and stuff. Any noise at all.
Defense.
Yeah, you talk about those hobbies. You wish you don't just buy one. I wish I only bought one hard seltzer. That's one I could say, yeah, I've been happy to just only buy one in my lifetime.
Defense Dad said lever guns makes him happy. I don't have a lever gun. I have gone a couple times to the gun store to have them order me lever gun, but then I'll get tempted by a fruit of another, something that is there in the case, and then I'll end up buying that because it's in front of me. But so I used the Savariland article as kind of a reference, and then what am I doing here? Share there. And so the Aero Precision, it says prototype, and it's not listed on their website.
So Arrow made the furniture and Stag made the gun, right?
I'm not sure, because like in the
Because I was
article,
standing there at the Stag booth asking for patches, and then this guy's like, Toby was like, hey, let me look at that lever gun. And they're like, this is our lever gun, and it looked like a regular lever gun in stainless and like a gray polymer wood, a gray laminate wood. And then he goes, and that's the Aero Precision, our gun with their furniture on it. So I didn't look at them, but I assumed that meant, I didn't think it meant they were different. I thought it meant they were the same chassis or the same gun.
I figured it was kind of the same, because like in the article, it's based off the Marlin 1895. I think the 1895, and their Stag and Arrow are owned by the same investment group. White Wolf, I think.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Are they? They're not the same location, though, are they?
No,
Where is Stag?
not
Connecticut or
sure.
Massachusetts or something crazy? Or am I crazy? And then Arrow is in Washington, right? That's the
Yeah.
one Woods likes a lot.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes north of me. But so this one is the Arrow version, which I don't know, I kind of like it. I don't like the tactical lever guns, the look of them, but I kind of like that one. And then this is the Stag one, which I think looks very nice. It looks like a Marlin to me.
Yeah. It's a nice looking gun. And depending on that leverage, sometimes it's your cartridge and also the lever gun, but how short that stroke or how long that stroke is on that lever. For instance, my Marlin 22 Magnum, it's such a short stroke that like it's just barely down and back up, and you're loaded again, and you can actually shoot them pretty quick. As we've probably all seen in some of the cowboy, videos or whatever.
Bear Creek.
Is that what they call it? Yeah.
Bear Creek Arsenal. Their lever gun.
I did not know they had a lever gun.
And let me jump over. I've got their site open. I'll do it that way. Try it this way. That way I can jump between tabs. So
Well, I'll tell you, Webs, that fox that's outside would love that watermelon right now. They love fruit.
I didn't know that. This dog's learned he likes watermelon today.
It's they don't have it on their website either. The Bear Creek. I don't think they have this on their website. There's a couple of these on the list that the companies don't have it on their website yet. But M-Lock, polymer stock, pick rails, big brake, big kind of tankish brake up there.
Does it say what caliber that is?
It's a 300 blackout and 223.
Okay,
it's
I
a
see.
Huge brake for those.
So those would probably be a pretty short stroke on that lever.
That one's a 450 Bushmaster, the one in the picture, I think.
There you go, Bubba. If you're still out there, 450 Bushmaster lever action, buddy.
Wheels out there. Good evening.
Wheeled and Chasing Ghost.
Hey.
I haven't seen Wheeled around in a long time. Bond arms. I think I've got the Bond arms. There we go. So they're LVRB. Right now they've got 223 Wild, 223 Remington, 556 NATO, future calibers, 300 Blackout, 450 Bushmaster, 350 Legend.
Now, for me as a lever action person, for a long time, the location that lever action, I'd like to try that to see if I like that or not, because it almost looks, I don't know if it'd be comfortable or not. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize.
Looks crazy, right? Unless it's got some kind of cam or leverage, you know what I mean? Like some kind of craziness that like you're saying, like maybe you just barely move it and it throws along. 223 is huge, like compared to anything else. Like 4570 or something? But something, most lever guns were kind of shorter than 223. So anyway, I guess 30-30 is pretty long, but still, it seems
Yeah.
like a lot of throw. Plus that angle. I guess they're trying to give it a
Optimus.
pistol grip.
Optimus Prime ribs out there.
I love that name.
That's a good name.
Anything with prime rib or bacon, I'm a fan of.
But like this one, I really do not care for the look of this. The way this looks, I personally.
What about the concept of a lever action 223 carbine that takes magazines that are 22?
I'm a little bit on the border. Part of me, because it's not traditional for lever guns, that I don't like it, but the calibers it allows, and it allows people to have them in states where have the restrictions.
Mhm.
I would love like a 30-06.
So lever guns typically have lead underneath the barrel, and as you shoot it, it's going to change the balance depending on how big the lead is and how many rounds there are. It's going to change the balance. This, like the Savage 99, has all its weight in one spot, so that weight is going to change, but its balance isn't going to change. Just throwing that out there.
I did come across that. One of the articles that I was reading before the chat mentioned that the balance difference.
People don't think about that unless you're carrying it or riding or something, like you're drawing it or fiddling with it. At the range, you don't think about it too much, but when you're carrying it around, you start thinking about balance more.
Well, the one problem with those magazines is when you throw them in your saddle sling, I don't know on your horse if that would work.
I just put them in your mag pouch.
When you're on a horse or a motorcycle and you've got a scabbard that you put your lever action in, you can't do that with the giant mag sticking out, as we say.
Yeah.
You'd have to make something Kydex or some kind of a pressure. There's got to be a different way to attach it, but it's not going to be the same as a big leather scabbard like we're used to.
The Henry Lever Gun Supreme, goofy name, but
I think that's the only one I didn't even see, or maybe I just seen it on the wall. Did you look at these, Wizard?
No.
I might not have them open. When I saw this, I thought of a mix between like a BAR and M50 Riesing is what it reminds me of, the look of it.
Well, and also something that people might not understand is, when you go to lever gun, you don't have that buffer tube like you do in an AR. So it's going to be like shooting a bolt action or whatever as far as recoil goes. I
don't know. I kind of like the way this looks.
They're essentially like shooting a bolt. There's nothing moving in that except for your shoulder when that gun goes off.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why the 4570 just, you remember when you shoot it.
That's one I want. I want a 4570. I want a Marlin 4570.
Yeah.
Chrome Marlin 4570.
My grandpa had one, and I don't know, I was a young, cocky kid, my early teens, and till this day, I know it's not, but still this day, I feel like that thing kicked the hardest. It was one of those, we didn't have Air Pro back then or nothing, and, just one that really surprised me. And
then the Heritage series, and got them. I gotta find which tab it was. I thought I had these in order, but I don't have them in order. There we go. The 3 different models, all in 22, the Mare's Leg, the Compact, and the Settler. And I think these are nice looking, kind of rustic and
Mhm.
kind of a case hardened look to them. I like the look of these.
I can't deal with a mag tube under the barrel like that. I need them connected.
Oh, that gap.
I think so. It's bothering me. Or at least a filler in there. I don't think they're always connected, but they put a filler in there. I don't like the front wood. It's bothering me. And why doesn't the levers hit the stock? Or is that just the picture?
I don't know. Let's go
Heritage.
back.
Are these the people that make the little revolvers that are inexpensive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So those are probably just not super expensive. I'll shut up. They're probably like $100 or something. Or $500? Okay, I'm going back to saying no.
It'd be what, their large loop on that Settler, I guess, what they're
Yeah.
considering a large loop.
And I don't care for Mare's Legs either.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing. Mare's Legs are
They're-
knees.
Oh.
They're awesome.
They're kind of cool, and I thought that, I used to think they were cool, and I don't know. I just don't. They have lost their coolness to me.
Oh, have you shot them?
Nope. I've never shot a lever gun.
Oh, man. How could you go to Nebraska and all them people from Nebraska and the central part of the country didn't bring out a lever gun for you to shoot it?
Somebody's
Oh.
going to bring you out a lever gun this year.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't going to be me because I don't have one.
Wow.
Except for a Daisy, and I don't think that counts.
Still a lever gun.
Oh. Then Marlin, 1894. They're bringing that back.
Yeah, that is definitely a classic.
I like the look of the Marlins. And the Marlin 336.
I feel like if that side loading gate was so good, Browning would have invented it.
Right?
Well, I mean, preferably, I will pick a side loading gate over a tube fed. Now, they have the loaders for the tube fed, rifles, but
Mr. Bob Dabalina talking about the Heritage, I believe. Those rifles remind me of a Relic guitar. It looks like someone beat the crap out of a nice thing to make it look road worn.
Oh, yeah.
Shabby chic. The Smith & Wesson, 1854. This is with the plastic stock, and this is gorgeous. To me, this is gorgeous,
Yeah.
except that Picatinny rail.
And I think they said that can be removed if I'm not mistaken. But see that right there, or unless I'm mistaken, that price tag and that there's only 1,800 of those made. So that's why the price tag's so high. Once they're gone, then I don't know if they'll come out with another edition or what, but somebody correct me, but that's what I heard. There's only 1,800 of those made.
Which is how they can get away with charging an MSRP like that.
Yeah.
Well, they had to develop all the tooling and stuff. Everybody who's buying this knows that. And
It's beautiful.
going to go up in value. That's a way to do it, I guess.
Way out of my price range. But it is.
What caliber is it? Oh, 44
Magnum.
Yeah. What the hell? I guess it's from Smith & Wesson. They have to.
It's
They-
cool, but it's not $34.99 worth of cool as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Too cool for school, huh?
But if money's not
Yeah,
enough,
well,
very
5 generations later, it's going to be a regular price, but to get the pay off all the design and manufacturing of it, they
Yeah.
know they got to pay.
But-
You know, you got to take that number, divide it by whatever you said, 100 or whatever, 1,000, and then they're not going to eat it. And those people, like you say, that got the money are like, heck yeah, I want to be part of Smith and Wesson getting into this whole realm.
And I honestly believe, like, if you have money for investment, this would be an investment because I don't think the price is going to go down on these.
Oh no, I'd be
The
surprised if you see
800
anybody shooting these. Right, these are going to be going into vaults.
Yeah. That plastic stock one, man, I just cannot like it. No matter, I don't know.
yeah, if
I like the shiny, the polish
If-
on it, but it just,
if that had the stock like the Marlins,
yeah.
then that would look nice. But yeah,
Well, how much
Winchester
is that one with the black stock going to cost?
less.
I'm trying to remember what those were.
1,500, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what 1,500.
So half the price.
Yeah,
Well,
1,200.
That's
1,200, yeah, about a 40%.
So half
And-
of that price, or most of that price, you're looking at another one is just finish and wood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it's a limited series to 1,800 though.
Yeah,
Okay.
limited and better metal because this is
Yeah.
just.
For YouTube purposes, we are not selling firearms. We are just looking at firearms.
Yeah, we can't afford to buy these firearms.
Uh,
But I agree with you. If that had a nice, beautiful wooden stock, it would definitely be.
Winchester, the Ranger, and it's nice, nice looking. Not doesn't blow my socks off, but it's easy to take down. That's seems to be the big thing about it.
Now it's still top ejection, right? I assume. Yeah.
That's a remake of an old one, right?
Wait, no, it's not top ejection, is it?
It's got the port right there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably bottom.
Well, it's going to eject it out there. The older Winchester levers, they were top ejection. So if you ever want to put a scope on it or something, you had to put a side mount because the bullet come out the top when the spent bullet. And
Then there was the Rossies, so triple black. I don't know, I kind of like it, except that rail. I'm not a fan of the rail, but
No, it's the stupid safety on the Rossies. It's a no-go.
that's pretty high for a Rossi, really. Their R92 was 8 something. And that's in like polished nickel.
But they wrap some some paracord around the loop.
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like it's threaded.
Oh,
Maybe
is it thread? Is it?
it looks like a cap.
Sure does. Looks like it got a peep side up there too.
Yeah,
Well, there's another reason to get your lever gun in 223, because then you can use your AR can on it. Super quiet.
and then another one which was on a list was the Marlin Dark series, 1895 Dark series. Another kind of tactical one.
Got adjustable cheek riser on it.
Yeah, it is. To me, this is not an attractive gun.
Don't look bad, except it's Marlin. I like the wood going all the way out to the end, or the handguard going all the way out to the end. Be cool if we could take a bayonet.
Oh. Then the Flight Light Herring.
Why does that look so familiar? Oh, I guess it kind of looks like a Caltech a little bit.
See, as big of a lever gun fan as I am, that does not look attractive at all to me.
What if it looked like this one?
It's just compliant. It looks compliant.
This one's not a lever, but
Yeah, it's.
I like the furniture on it.
Mm-hmm.
That picture popped up when I was looking for this model. Extremely accurate modular lever action.
Well, I don't know. Do you guys think when they start making these lever actions more tactical and make them looking more scary like that, is that going to be the next ones on the list?
There was, when I was looking, I saw a picture that had a bunch of these kind of rifles, and they looked real similar to AR-15s, and that's what I thought. Well, you know, they're the anti-gunners that hate AR-15s because of the way they look, think they're scary, are going to think the exact same thing about these.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. They're going to think something scary because they're looking for something to be a scapegoat for their fears. So if you didn't make these guns and you got rid of AR-15s, they'd start to go, look at those telescopes on top of those guns. Those are scary. They would say, look at how big the barrel is on that shotgun. That's scary. Look how many pellets come out of a shotgun. That's scary. So you can't retreat away from their scared because they're going to go, a muzzle loader, that doesn't even have a serial number on it. That's scary. You know, like anybody, an 18-year-old can own a muzzle loader. That's scary. Like there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
You could say, John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln with that gun. That's scary.
And I'm not saying
use those guns.
I'm not saying these shouldn't exist. I'm just saying that I think
I'm
they're
not saying
kind of
that,
ugly and don't interest me.
I just don't think they're going to go after them. I think these are helping to normalize things like rails and things like detachable magazines. I think they're built for compliance for those people who, like those people in Massachusetts right now that are just getting kicked in the rights over and over and over again because there's lots of reasons. But I think these are a reaction to that. Plus, well, I mean, when did y'all start buying guns? Remember 2000 and the beginning of the 2000s, I guess, the 2005 for the assault weapons ban up until about 9 or 13. There was just like so many AR things. Everybody's just used to it now. But, we used to just have plastic handguards on the front of our AR-15s. And then you could go, oh, look, I could buy a different color. And then all of a sudden there was quad rails and then this and that and bam, bam, bam. And that's all because people could buy a mill, put it in their garage, pay it off by making projects and become a new company. So the same modular concept or the same concept of like, hey, let's build pieces that fit together and then we can make these guns super, like customized. People can make all these, once somebody comes up with a chassis that's like a 1022 chassis for lever guns or like an AR receiver for lever guns, they're done. Like, if Ruger would come up with that chassis or if Smith & Wesson came up with that chassis and then all the machinists out there started building rails and stocks and components for it, you know what I mean? That's what they're all fighting for right now. They see it as a new platform to potentially to build, to people are going to build on. At least I think there's that component of it. That's why we're seeing such development, because anybody can sit down with a 3D printer and come up with, a physical version of a crazy idea And then once enough people say, let's do it, they start making it out of metal.
But that was all the lever guns that came up in a very quick Google search. So I didn't spend a lot of time. Was there anything else, any other lever guns you guys can think of that we didn't cover at SHOT Show?
I think you covered most of all of them I can think of, but I didn't go. But just from the videos I've watched, Gary, or
Can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
I haven't put any attention into trying to keep up with them, so I just know there was a lot of them.
well, I have a question about the lever guns. And I never really thought about what G Webbs was talking about, to where states, that can't have an AR or whatever they may be, they can have a lever gun. That is just something that added to it. And so I was thinking, when I seen all these lever guns come out, I was thinking, well, maybe they're listening to like people out there that like lever guns, and they're building it for the people that's asking for them. But then also I got thinking, well, is it because, is this another reason why they started putting out lever guns, is because of the prices this last year that Marlin's, the new, Marlin lever guns have been able to put on their rifles. I have several Marlins that I bought, years and years ago, and we're talking, way, way cheaper, new and used, than what you can buy a Marlin for today. So they see a competition like, hey, we can throw together a lever gun and ask, above $1,000 for it, and people's going to buy it because Marlin's selling theirs for those now. Or, I mean, would you guys, what's your opinions on it? Or is it to like G Webbs is saying, to be able to supply people in the states that cannot use an automatic weapon?
It's semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic. Sorry.
Well, I think there's also an aspect of the engineering, like the machinists that do them. Like that's got to be an art that Winchester had, and Marlin had, and Rossi had, and who else? So they got to develop all that or create it. I don't know if that's easy or not. Thing is, lever actions were neat because they have like 14 parts. If you count the barrel and the sights and everything, it turns into like 30 parts. But the guts of the gun are like 15 parts.
Some of it may be competition for Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget about Henry. Yeah, Henry's up there kicking out money constantly. They're making so much money, so I'm sure they're all looking at Henry and going, "Why are we letting them take all that money off the table?"
Yeah, and Henry's always
pretty much owned it for years and years. So
high price, Well, Henry's always been a high priced, lever gun. And
well, back in the 90s, they were doing late night infomercials, Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the websites, I don't remember which one it was, had pictures of the customers with their lever guns, and I got a chuckle out of it because it was like 50 Shades of Hillbilly. I mean, as you scrolled through, then you started seeing kind of younger guys, but a lot of them were the people you would imagine. Yeah.
Are you saying Hillbilly's not a younger guy?
Well,
poor Hillbilly.
If I was young as I felt, I mean.
So going back to making the guns modular and making them unique, like think about back in the Indian Wars and the cavalry days, how many lever actions did you see that weren't adorned or weren't customized by the dudes carrying them? We've always customized our guns. Lever guns were one of the ones that we did because you'd see their stocks hanging out of the saddle. People would have their gun with them all the time.
X Adam One's out there. He said, just got in, enjoying Nebraska cold weather, brisk 30 to 40 degrees.
35 here.
39 degrees in Tucson.
It was. I'm not sure what it is now. The last couple nights, it's been down in the 30s.
It snowed here this morning.
But hopefully, X Adam in June will be in Nebraska again for Thunder on the Prairie, which registration is open. Travis P11 on his site has a video all about it. So if you want to learn more, you can learn more from him. I registered. I am ready to go. I think Gary, have you? You have.
Yeah.
You did, because you're the reason I did, because you told me that you did.
If we just get some of these people from Missouri to come up there.
I'm wanting to, buddy.
Not,
looking up
not naming
Travis.
any names. Mind you. Not
I'm
naming
looking
names.
up Travis's deal right now, so here it is. I'll share this.
It's a good time. It's fun. The whole reason I went was just to meet the people that I talked to on the internet. Be able to see them, shake their hands.
But unlike all the other meetups I've been to, you actually get to shoot with people. That's what's great about this one. You get to shoot right beside them. Sometimes they'll hand you their gun and say, "You want to shoot it?"
We had one of those before.
It's great. I mean, I can't explain it until you've been to one. It's like, this is super.
We had one in Oklahoma, remember?
Yeah.
Only the one, though.
And there's usually last year was my first time, and there were Travis and Defense Dad got a bunch of sponsors, so they had a bunch of swag that they gave out. A bunch of stuff was given away.
Ammo company supplied a bunch of ammo for us to shoot. Good ammo.
Like the second day, it's a 2-day event. The second day, Meade, they're like, "Well, we don't want to take this home. Somebody take this ammo, please." So they were kind of giving stuff to people so they didn't have to take it back with them.
Heck yeah.
Foster, you give me wrench for just 1 second. I'll post this because it wouldn't pull up because I was putting this link in there.
Yeah, here. Give me just a moment. There you go. Try it now.
You got crowned. Ooh.
Okay, there it went.
So Hillbilly has put a link out there for Thunder on the Prairie.
You can take that wrench back, buddy. I just wanted to post that.
Too much effort. And for those who came in late, I've got patches. We've got official patches.
Wow. Well, you have to get one of those.
Sweet.
I got them from Owl and Anchor. Woo.
So you're talking before you didn't like the two, or you thought twice about the two-tone, so you want the solid background on that patch?
Oh yeah, just to simplify it, because G-Webs did the design for it originally, and I tweaked it a little bit just to take it a little farther away from the source material.
Mm-hmm.
But the background went from a lighter to a darker, I think it was. So I just made it a solid color just to simplify it. And then
looks nice.
I did a couple versions where, I limited the colors on the patch because I didn't know how many colors you could do on a patch or not. But I'm happy.
I haven't had any limits so far. I don't know the number of colors I've done. But they never really complained. Maybe the donuts? No, this only had like 8 colors.
Yesterday's pomade's out there. Good morning. Trying to think. Yeah, something just slipped my mind. I don't know what it was. I didn't hold on to it tight enough.
Oh no.
Well, probably wasn't important. Usually isn't important.
Show topic or what? Segment?
I don't know.
It's Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I've got the old timers. Oh, probably doesn't matter. Well, while there's break, how about
HereWebsites.com for two-way stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting, and so much more. HereWebsites.com.
And there's usually a couple extras thrown in with orders, even though especially on Fridays, which is free patch Fridays, but now and again during regular orders.
Did you say Free Patch Friday? What's that all about? You telling me that you get free patches?
On Friday.
GearWebsites.com. When you order on Friday, you get
every Friday?
Every Friday, as far as I know.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, a few Fridays ago, I ordered a Wolverine patch. And I'm so excited.
And there's quite a few different versions of that Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I've got several different ones.
I've got a few. I don't know. My favorite is the Baby Yoda one. I've got the Baby Yoda one. Which they're all upstairs, so I can't show any of them. There we go.
Yeah, Vulcan Rumbles. You're dang right, buddy. Super Bowl Sunday is here. At least in Missouri.
I will not watch. I don't plan on watching the Super Bowl.
It's not tearing up too much internet.
He'd be watching if his chicken hawks were playing.
Yeah. I've got their.
I wouldn't watch any of it. They had that damn letter that went out just to make sure that everybody knew that all sports were on board with tyranny. It's messed up.
I waffle back and forth where, I stopped watching any of the sports, some of the college stuff, but stopped watching the professional sports. But if I watch, I get back into it. It's like the Mariners. I'm a big Seattle Mariners fan. Grew up a Mariners fan. I have a Mariners collection. They normally suck.
Is that baseball?
Yep. The baseballs. And, they've had a few good years. And so it's sometimes hard to watch the Mariners. But just with, kind of a lot of the garbage that comes along with the professional sports in the past few years, I kind of got tired of. And I quit watching basketball altogether. Well, when they took the Sonics, apart from some people that I like in Oklahoma, they can go fuck themselves. Pardon me.
I haven't heard about the NBA for years anyway.
But I kind of even the last year of the Sonics, I could see that the owner, because there were stipulations, and the owner basically burned the team down, kept like one or two star players so he could move them. And you could see what he was doing. And then they, sold the team and moved them. But it's not really basketball anymore, because you don't really have to dribble. You can take as many steps as you want.
I agree.
It's just not. It's not basketball. I don't enjoy watching it. I will watch. Well, I used to watch.
Why'd they get rid of that? So you're saying they don't have to dribble anymore? They can just run around with the ball and throw it at the hoop?
Pretty much. That's the way it goes.
Mhm.
Just because it makes it more exciting because there's more action going on. But you can watch clips where they'll stop dribbling, post up, start dribbling again. That's travel. Yeah. Or
they take 5 steps
yeah.
and do a layup or something,
or they get fouled on the way to the basket, tape 3-4 more steps, and they call that continuation. That's not continuation. You were fouled before your shot, not during your shot.
Yeah.
And then I
gave it up, man.
They for the Pac-10, Pac-12, Pac-9, what the hell? Well, now it's the Pac-2 because all the teams are gone. But they created their own channel like some of the other conferences did. And I've got DirecTV who fought with them over pricing and wouldn't carry them. So I never, I don't get to watch any of the college, sports that I want to watch. I'm just disgruntled now.
I can help you out with that, boss. I'll talk to you like another time, but yeah, I can help you out with those.
I can understand like watching a team and understanding like the tradition of going to a game. Even like I've been to one, so I understand like it's like being in a concert or something, cheering and all that.
Yeah.
But just when it's a bunch of millionaires running around making so much money to play or whatever, I could see it almost with school. But then those kids are all just trying to be professional or whatever. It's not like, they're just doing it as like a sport. I don't know how to call it, like a hobby. Like, oh, I'm going to school to be a dentist or something, but I'm good at basketball, so I play basketball. But once I'm done, I'll be a dentist, I could almost see it if it was like that. I don't know. Was it ever like that, or was it always going into professional?
Well, kind of as the money, the earning potential overall kind of.
The money's there because they're monopolies, and the government says nobody can compete with them, right? So then, boom, they can just do whatever they want.
And I'm not a football fan. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm a Mariners fan and a Seahawks fan. So if I'm not watching them, I usually won't watch that sport at all. I do enjoy watching baseball, but I want to watch the Mariners. I don't want to watch the Rangers. I don't want to watch the Twins. But that's
Yeah, I used to be a huge fan. I didn't watch any World Series games this last year. None of them.
Yeah.
Didn't care. No, I didn't watch any of the playoffs game. My team's not in there. That's the only reason I'd care. The only reason I watch the NFL is because the Chiefs are on. Other than that, I wouldn't be watching a Super Bowl. Last time the Chiefs didn't play in it, I didn't watch a game.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so much. I mean, like when you're talking about basketball, when you dribble a basketball, your hands got to be on top of the basketball. If you carry the ball over, that's carrying the ball. Nowadays, every dribble, they carry the ball, back and forth. That right there is a penalty for walking, what they call walking or carrying the ball. And none of that exists today. Like they're talking about the steps and all that stuff. And, I don't know. It aggravates me, I guess. watching.
So when they teach a kid how to play basketball, do they teach them with rules, or do they teach them with these new "you can do anything you want" rules? Like, do kids know that the pros are breaking the rule? Like, what about in college? Do they have to break the rule, or they break the rules?
If you watch high school or like elementary or middle school, whatever you want to call it, basketball, yes, the ball bounces above their waist, and like they're carrying, turn their hand over with the ball. That's carrying the ball still. And like now you get on into high school, they're allowed, I think, two step, what they call 2 steps or something. They can stop under the basket and still take 2 steps and shoot the ball or something. And so, yeah, it kind of, as the level progresses, they start adding that stuff in for them.
Larry Knopf is out there. Yeah, Larry is a big KC fan. Also, Gary.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I like you, Larry. I don't know you, but
all your better people are.
But wasn't the Seahawks in the AFC West before?
At one time they were, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because they had.
They started the first year they were NFC West, then they switched to AFC West, and then ended up switching back to NFC West.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because you guys had like Warren Moon as a quarterback. Yeah. They were in the AFC, with us, and then along there they had the expansion.
Yeah, they had this guy named Jim Zorn way before that, though. I remember him.
Yeah. Yeah, Warren Moon actually came and played for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hillbilly.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you plug something?
Okay. Well, every Saturday night we have Guns, Beer, and Therapy. It's at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And we try to have a good time there. Tonight we had Bubba eating a bunch of malt duds, way more than anybody should ever consume in 1 hour. And that was a lot of fun. And I am coming up on 1,776 subscribers. So we're going to have a big 1776 giveaway. And I have some of these patches here I'm going to be giving out for that. And anyway, not only these patches, we're going to have the grand prize or one of the bigger prize for that night. If you go over and follow me on X and comment 1776 over there, then you'll get entered into the grand prize for that night. And other than that, man, just shooting videos and enjoying life, brother. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for coming on. Gary, anything you want to plug?
Oh, let's see. I've got some videos coming out on my channel. I released a video from Range Day. I believe it was on Thursday or Friday. I've got another one coming, 2 or 3 more coming out this next week. Some more stuff from SHOT Show, plus Foul Territory every Friday night. And that is at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'd love to have everybody there. Thanks for having me.
G Webs, is there anything you want to plug?
I was thinking I would plug whatever that soda is that Gizzard keeps sipping on there. It must be pretty good.
I think it's hard seltzer.
Yeah, it's hard, all right.
What flavor is that?
It's Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Gary's of the Pepsi generation.
Yeah.
Oh, so appreciate everybody that was out there in the side chat. Oh, damn it. Forgot the banner.
Oh yeah. Don't forget your banner.
Yeah. So if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with. Let me know what your favorite lever gun is. And Wednesday will be a mouse party, and next weekend is an off weekend, so no overnight next weekend. And I think that's everything. So hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.
Still here? It's over. Go home. Go.